Hey guys, and welcome back to Mad Ginger Customs. We're going to do a tool review. Usually we do a 15-minute tool review, but this might be a little bit longer because there's more features. BESTARC reached out. They said, hey, we got a BTC500. We want you to do a video on and test it for us. And I was like, well, I already have a BTC500 and I already did a video. And they're like, no. This is the new BTC500XP. And I'm like, okay, go ahead. Give me the deets. So they were like, it's pilot arc, it is non-high frequency start, it has a mesh feature, and it is CNC capable. So technically, if you had a small hobby plasma table, you could use this. And this thing, super economical. So I noticed that I never do unboxings, and I don't know if you guys want to see that or not. So let's unbox it together, and I'll just kind of give you an overview of what's in the box, and we'll go from there. It does list on the outside of the box that it says this is the 11th gen, right? BESTARC is a company that does, I don't want to say entry level, but lower dollar plasma cutters that are feature packed. Like, this is literally the best packaged plasma cutter as far as technology for value that I think I've ever seen. And we've done plasma cutter shootouts. So right off the bat, this thing says, the description is 50 amp non-HF, that's high frequency, blowback pilot arc, digital CNC plasma cutter, mesh and plate cutting, 60% duty cycle. It is 110 and 220 dual voltage capable. It has a built-in air regulator and a filter. It says pilot arc and post-flow adjustment. So anywho, this basically comes in a box. It's boxception. These are on Amazon. I'm going to have a link in the description, obviously, like always. We're going to run all the tests we normally run. I'm going to cut 1/2-inch plate with this thing, and we'll see how she does. Get rid of that. This is actually a very small unit for all the things it says it does. It comes with a giant box of accessories. So here's the accessory box this thing comes with. Now, I don't know what's going to be in here, so we're going to look together. Always include this hose. I don't know what the purpose of this hose ever is. I've never found a use for these hoses. This thing has a quick connect. You're just going to plug right in. So in case you need an adapter, that goes there. Extra consumables, that we're going to hold on to. This is your plug adapter that goes from 220 to 110. We got a very generous amount of, wow, that's a long ground cable. So that is something. Okay. I'm probably going to have to measure that for you guys. That seems like a whole lot of ground. These are the CNC adapters. I don't know if these work with my Langmuir plasma table. So let's hook all this up. That's the unboxing. Do you guys like unboxings? I never do these. This torch lead is a little over 12 feet long, it appears, just by measuring it against myself. This is a standard Euro connector. Almost every new welder plasma cutter comes with this. So it's got a notch here, so it's indexed so you can't kind of put it in wrong. And basically you go like this, and then all you have to do is turn this. And this is going to basically pull this into the socket. So that way you can't bend anything or screw it up. The ground is 1/4 turn lug, like every other welder or plasma table or plasma cutter on the planet. So you basically just put this thing in. It is indexed, does go down. We gotta move that, and you turn, and that's it. All right, guys, I got this thing set up 220 volt because I like to run everything at the maximum amount of power. It does have this. This will run 35 amps total if you run the 110 adapter. So if you run the 220 adapter, then you get the full complement of the machine. So let's fire it up. Buttons on the back, and we're going to go through this display, and we're going to go through the features and the connectors on the back for you plasma table guys. It's air or cut, so it tells you what your flow pressure is going to be. So we would want to back that down just a bit. Maybe in the 55 range, anywhere from 50 to 55. Depends on how how thick that you're cutting through. And this is all you do. You pull this out, twist it, push it back in, locks it back down. Now your other option is plate or mesh. So if you're cutting anything solid, you're going to want it on plate. If you're going to cut, let's see here, expanded metal like this, I actually bought this just to do tests with. This is just like local hardware store stuff. We're going to try that. Because the way that works is, you guys know, if you cut expanded metal and you keep cutting, when it goes into a void and you don't move fast enough, the machine shuts off. Almost every plasma cutter does that. This gives you the ability to hold the circuit and then keep going. So if you guys do decorative metal, expanded metal, probably works on chain link too. So that's a good thought. Let's see here, 2T, 4T, that's if pull the trigger, hold it down is 2T, pull the trigger once, it starts, you go and you shut it off with the trigger pull again. We got a PA and a PT. So what that does is it gives you the ability to control the post time that this blows air. So anywhere from 3 to 15 seconds. And it also gives you the ability to adjust the pilot arc. PA, that's the pilot arc. So how long the pilot arc stays on. You know, you don't need it on for, you know, crazy amount of time. But depending upon, sometimes if you're doing really rusted metal or painted metal, you can use the pilot arc to burn through and then go, and then you want it to shut off so the machine has all the power for the cutting. So if you're looking at the back of the machine, on, off, tells you the voltage. But it also has these two pin connectors, right? This one says arc voltage. This one says signal control. It also comes with these two pigtails. This is for CNC plasma table, guys. You're going to use your torch height sensing using this arc voltage. Torch height sensing is if your metal warps, the farther away you get from your workpiece changes your voltage, and this will report to your CNC plasma table, and it'll tell the table to move the head up and down as it moves, so you have a uniform cut. I actually do not have that feature on my plasma table. It is very basic. It's an option. I didn't feel I needed it. The other one is control signal. So it's basically just making, you know, connections in here, and it tells you start movement and start the trigger. So we'd only technically use the trigger out of this. So you would have to physically wire this to your whip on your plasma table, but this is plasma table capable. With 35 amps, 10-second post flow, throw some glasses on, and let's just see how she does. This is pilot arc, so now that's going to time down 10 seconds, and it's going to shut this air off. There we go. Works like a champ. Man, that is literally a hot knife through butter. I bet I could have moved way faster. Let's move on to something a little bit more spicy. All right, guys, what we're going to do is, I think I'm going to alternate back and forth from 220 to 110 because, you know, recognizing the fact that a lot of guys don't have 220 in their garages or at their houses that it's available to them. Let's test everything we do as we go, 110 and 220. I just hooked up the adapter to this, and this is a monster extension cord. This is a 10-2 or 10-3, 10-2 of the ground. If you were going to use this machine, I would suggest do not use it on an extension cord unless you have a monster of an extension cord, because the length, most extension cords are garbage. I made that one. So immediately the machine switches over to 110 volts. So it's auto voltage sensing. If you notice that the fan is not on either. The fan only comes on demand. And let's just have at it. That's at 110, and all you gotta do is just tap the slag line, and that slag will fall right off of there, the dross. It's called dross, guys. All right, guys, we're still at 110 volts. Let's just run the 110 until we can't. You know what I mean? This is 3/16 thick plate. Still 35 amps, 110. Ready? Here we go. That's all it takes. And short of my shaky hands, guys, that's legit. There's no sense in doing it on 220 because we know it does it on 110. Let's grab something thick. Let's grab a thicken. This right here is 1/4 inch. We cut this for something we were going to use for the plasma table. I didn't like it, so let's sacrifice it to the plasma cutter gods. Had to wait for this compressor to cycle off. Thing's super loud. Should probably put it outside, but we don't have the room. All right, so I just took our little body hammer here and tapped off the dross. That is 110 volts. Now keep in mind, I don't know if I would even try to consistently do 1/4 inch at 110 volts. You can, but you know, beating up the machine, I think, like that. So I would say anything 1/4 inch or better, I would definitely go 220 with, because, and you're also gonna, if you're running an extension cord like this, you're probably gonna trip your breaker. I have in the past doing other tests, and that's how I know. So we're gonna switch it up, and we are now going to hit some 3/8 plate and some 1/2 inch plate, and we're gonna do it on 220, and we're gonna see how she does. Let's go. We are back in it to win it with the 220 volt. Oh, squirrely over here. Check out my engine run stand. We're actually going to use what we make with this thing to finish that stand. If you guys haven't watched that video is awesome. We made this whole collapsible engine run stand that docks to an engine stand. That is heavy. Honestly, any home plasma cutter that can cut that is doing pretty well. Get the dross off. Look at this cut. That is 3/8 thick. Like butter. Dun-unt. Dun-unt. Dun-unt, dun-dun, dun-unt, dun-dun, dun-unt, dun-dun, dun-dun. Alright, here we go. 1/2 inch plate. 65 on the flow on the machine. 50 amps. That's a lot. Let's see how it does. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Look at this thing. That's for me kind of stuttering, but that is absolutely incredible. Man, that is really, really good. So that's the machine. 110, 220, up to 1/2 inch plate steel. It'll do it, and it does it easily. Fans on, we're gonna let it cool down, and we're gonna try that mesh feature. Let's do that. All right, here's our thought. So this is the bottom of my engine run stand. We wanted to set a battery on it and a fuel tank. Now, short of putting bracing in here, this expanded metal will be fine in here once it's welded in on each side, because the corners really share the load. Since you can drag this tip because it has a standoff, we're just gonna use a fence, and we're just gonna zip it across. All right, so you're gonna go to mesh, and it's gonna give you the mesh setting. This is in mesh mode. We're gonna try this thing out. BTC500XP. That did not work the way I thought it worked. I thought it maintained an arc. It doesn't. It actually, as it moves, as soon as it senses a ground, boof, boof, boof. It's impressive. How does it know that it has... How does it know that it has the ground? I don't know. There's like magic going on in there. There's electrical gremlin magic or electrical wizard magic in there. But anyway, guys, pretty impressive. So you just drag it, and it turns on and off and on and off and on and off and on and off as soon as it senses ground. It really didn't even build that much heat. But look at that. So you guys that do decorative stuff, that's it. Let's cut the rest of it and see how that goes. Mesh function is a win. Put it in the brake. Bent down the sides. We'll tack it, tack, tack, and now we got a nice shelf. On my generation Langmuir, to fire the torch, it uses this barrel connector. It's basically like a 12-volt connector. So I had to buy a cable because I don't want to like take apart my whole setup. So all I did was connect my torch fire to terminals 2 and 3, which are the 2 red ones. And we're going to plug that right into signal. We're going to see if we can cut some stuff. We're going to put it on plate. Let's see what we got for cut pressure. We'll go a little higher than that. Actually, no, we're fine. 35 amps. Plenty for, this is like 18 gauge. If you notice, the CNC light is on. Because this thing's ready to rip. Fan's on, thing's ready to go. The only thing we did was connect our torch. And I'm kind of going to hold this up, you know, and I just suspended my torch up top. We're just doing this, and then we're going to clean this whole thing because it's a disaster. This is where we're at, what we're going to make. I know it'll fire the torch because I tested it previously. I usually use a mouse, so this is probably not very smart. But we're going to set you up, and I'm going to hit start. You ready? Is running admirably. Tells you it's firing. And that's it. Now, this is going to continue to run air for 15 seconds. It knows it's in CNC, so it wants 15. We're going to let it run out at 15. We're going to see what we made. F-bomb can opener. If you wanted to make more of these, you would just make millions and millions and millions of them. You see guys sell these online for like 15 bucks. I would literally give these away when people ordered stuff. Let's try something a little thicker. So this is a small block Chevy frame mount. And we're going to hit start and pray, because I didn't draw this thing. I don't know if that piece of plate had enough room. Maybe we'll make another one because we got to make one for the other side. All right, we zeroed it up. I moved it over again because it was in the wrong place. And we're going to go again. Now she goes. Good unit. All I'm doing is tapping off the dross. Look at the cut. Look at that. Guys, this machine is under 400 bucks. And I checked it, there's like a $70 off coupon like right now on Amazon. Look at the cut quality. That's ridiculous. That's like, you could literally just use this just as it sits. That's fairly impressive. Look at the side. I don't know if the GoPro's going to pick up how good that is. But that's very impressive, guys. All right, guys, wrapping it up. BESTARC has always made a good plasma cutter. You guys have seen them on my channel before. This is no exception. The BTC500XP is awesome. I love the mesh function. It really did help with expanded metal. If you guys do anything with decorative metal, that's going to be a lifesaver. You know, that on, off, on, off, on, off. As soon as I think it senses ground and then off it goes. Really great feature. And couple that with the fact that this is a CNC capable plasma cutter. So you could hook this up to your plasma table, or if you're building a DIY plasma table, this thing's ready to go. This thing is in the, depending upon when you check, the 350 to 380 range. It's different all the time. There's always sales. I'll have a link in the description. I'll have a link to BESTARC. You guys watch me do it, and if I can do it, you can do it. Get yourself a BTC500XP. Can't go wrong with it. Thanks for watching.